consequence. A result or effect, typically one that is unwelcome or unpleasant. Now, I'm sure that this definition would work out in most situations, but when it comes to this incident that we're going to discuss, unpleasant is a massive understatement. Because how else would you explain posting a video defending yourself in the face of consequences and getting one of the worst like-to-dislike ratios I've ever seen in my entire life? How else would you explain community notes that are so ruthless that they put you in physical pain when you read them? All while your sponsors join in the chaos and start canceling their contracts with you. I mean, really, is unpleasant truly a word that can describe how bad this is when there's an NBA team that's making fun of you on their TikTok page? When you screwed up so hard that your name is now used as cultural lingo to signify a bad player in a multiplayer game? I mean, seriously, how the hell did it get so bad? Well, at its essence, this incident wasn't centered on a game or a community. This was something that everyone can understand, a victim standing up to his very ruthless bullies. They held more power and influence over him and managed to cause considerable damage. He was framed, and they tarnished his reputation. He would then, all alone, stand up for himself. And when the community had his back, the bullies would not only double down, they would triple down and quadruple down, never once apologizing to him. This truly showed us how vile they truly were as they were being cornered by, well, the entire internet. So no wonder this escaped containment outside of the Marvel Rivals community and into the mainstream. You now have people, both young and old, wondering what happened, asking, hey, can I get details about this? And I mean, of course they would, because this story not only plays out like a classic movie plotline, it also has an extremely satisfying ending. However, the ending is even more satisfying if you truly understand every aspect that led up to it. And seeing that there's a lot of details involved, I figured we have to talk about it, which is why I'm making this video. So, without further ado, here's the full story of how Kingsman stood up to his 3 bullies and won. Let's do this. Alright, so first things first, who the hell is Kingsman 265? Well, before even starting to upload videos or create content, he was someone who had already spent time in first-person shooter games, most notably Hyperscape, a Ubisoft game that came out in 2020. According to him, he played this game back when he was 16 years old, and he was so good at it that at some point he was #1 on the leaderboard. Quite the achievement, especially since this game had a crazy learning curve. That unfortunately wouldn't last, because the game would prove to be unpopular and shut down very shortly after. This is when he would make the move to Apex. And just like in Hyperscape, the guy was very skilled too, achieving top ranks consistently. For Kingsman though, everything would change when Marvel Rivals would come out on December 6th, 2024. This is when he would pivot to it full time. And just like in the other games he played, he was also incredibly skilled here, reaching top 500 in multiple roles using multiple heroes, while also managing to become the rank 1 Magik player, a character that's not even ranked at the top of the meta. Look, by this point it was obvious, Kingsman wasn't just talented at Marvel Rivals, he was talented in general in competitive games. Unfortunately though, this ridiculous level of skill wouldn't translate into much viewership. He would start streaming in the summer of 2023 and would continue streaming regularly, consistently. And yet for almost 2.5 years, the growth wouldn't translate into much, with him peaking at around 150 average viewers. That's just the reality of the streaming landscape, especially when it came to a game like Marvel Rivals. So on January 12, 2026, when Basim ZB, a Marvel Rivals content creator, would announce that he was hosting a tournament for Marvel Rivals titled Creator Cup with a $40,000 prize pool, including 48 creators, one of them being Kingsman, as you can imagine, he was very excited. This is an opportunity to not just showcase your content and your gameplay, but also a shot at winning a prize. This prize pool also didn't come from just anywhere. It was officially being sponsored by NetEase Games, the creators of the game. The way this was structured was simple. There would be 8 different captains, and on the 13th of January, they'd all be present on Basim's livestream to create their team from those 40 invited content creators. In the case of Kingsman, he'd end up being picked by the captain, Cece. She admitted during the draft pick that she didn't know him, she just knew that he was very skilled. Alongside him, she would pick a few other teammates. What you have to keep in mind are 2 names in particular, Zazzastack and Luciyasa. You see, Kingsman was streaming as Cece was picking her team, and from the moment this team was formed, he signaled one worry that he had: Zazzastack. So shortly after the draft, he would get into a call with the team captain, Cece, and he would express his worries. He'd very clearly outlined to her that he was worried about Zazzastack, not because of her skill, not because of her as a person, but because she was the only content creator that was based in Australia when everyone else was playing on US-based servers. This meant that she had 200 ping, and to make matters worse, she was a Black Widow main, a sniper character that of course needs way less than 200 ping to be accurate, while also being a character that's completely out of meta. Cece would reassure Kingsman during their call that don't worry, European players have 150 ping, Zazzastack isn't that far behind, and that her Black Widow was really good, asking him to be patient until he saw her performance himself. So look, by this point, everything was cordial, everything was friendly and reasonable. It was no secret that Kingsman was worried, but he was optimistic. He wanted to give this team a chance, especially seeing that there was a $40,000 prize pool and he was a completely broke college student. He wanted to give it his best shot and chose to give Zazzastack the benefit of the doubt. What he could have never seen coming, though, is that this team wasn't going to be too far off from those terrible group projects you had in high school, where you were put with the most entitled, vile bullies. Alright, so here's the deal. A Marvel Rivals team has 6 players. There are different heroes with different roles, and you can use varying combinations to come up with a strategy. At the moment though, the best strategy is pretty straightforward, and it's used by all pro players. It's called triple support, and it involves having half your team pretty much be support heroes. Seeing that there's not really much you can do to counter a team like this, everyone has been using it to rank up. It's actually very similar to what happened with Overwatch 1 at some point, when the meta used to be 3 supports and 3 tanks. Everyone was using it and you couldn't counter it in any way, shape, or form. Seeing that Kingsman was intending to do his absolute best in this tournament and wanted his team to win, he assumed that his team would also have the same mentality and go with the best meta team possible. Shortly before the tournament would begin, he'd go live on his channel with the intent of scrimming with his team, which meant playing against other teams in this tournament before the tournament began, just to practice. The only person who had shown up was Cece. He had to go out of his way to contact everyone else in order for them to get there. 2 of the players couldn't even make it. They found replacements for them, but the only players that showed up from his team were Cece, Zazzastack, and Luciyasa. As you can imagine, the scrims went terribly, and I can't remember the last time I had to force myself to watch something this much because of how uncomfortable it was. But I'm not going to be the only one suffering here. I'm going to show you multiple clips of these scrims so you can understand how terrible the team dynamic was and how vile his teammates were. In this first clip, Kingsman expresses shock when his teammates tell him they don't intend to run the best meta team composition in the game. Seeing that some of the people playing this tournament were pro players, this was pretty much similar to saying, hey, we're going to throw the game on purpose. Watch.
We're not going to run triple support for the tournament?
No, we're not.
Where did you get that idea that we were?
Jeez, we lost! What?
Right, where is this triple support coming from? I don't really
Okay, then we don't play. Okay, well, this is gonna be a hard tourney then.
Yeah,
you just think it's gonna be a hard round.
No, guys, I want to try hard this tourney, but
if you don't run triple support, like hard meta, we're never winning.
it's a $40,000 tourney, guys.
Yeah,
we're gonna need triples.
Win on off-meta characters. Other people gonna be playing off-meta too. Like,
yeah, I don't think.
I think you guys have a very different mentality than like other teams. Like I think
the
other teams will just walk out with full.
Thank you.
Just bear in mind, we're still in the complete beginning of the scrims. This is like the first game they're playing together. The only person attempting to take him seriously was someone who wasn't even on the team. They were there as a replacement. The people arguing with him are both Cece and Luciyasa, who kind of sound similar, as well as Zazzastack. She's the one with the Australian accent. And from their tone, you can tell that they're clowning on him, even though Kingsman is one of the best players in the game. Still though, you don't get to Kingsman's level of skill if you just gave up easily, so he kept trying to talk sense into his team and only kept getting shut down.
Talk some sense into these guys, because they don't want to run triple support. They're gonna
fucking triple support a character that I don't know how to play. What the fuck do you want me to do? Like,
want to run triple support.
But every team will.
Drafted for triple support. No, they won't.
You don't think any team will want to run triple support?
No, you can barely get Matthew to play freaking support, let alone 3 people.
If Matthew's playing for 40 grand, he's gonna play triple support.
I got mad.
As you could tell, he was starting to lose his mind. Guys, there's $40,000 on the line, and you think that people weren't going to use the best meta composition in this tournament. The team captain was not taking him seriously, and Zazzastack was not even attempting to offer to try support. He was starting to get so desperate that he even offered to play support himself, showing that he was willing to do anything for his team to win, something that his teammates apparently didn't really agree on.
Just because you can, I can learn him too and play him.
You need 2 tanks though for triple support.
People are telling me that, yeah, I can play second tank. I play strange.
Your chatters that freaking are keyboard Andes, bro.
He would offer to play support, he would offer to play tank, nothing, just more disrespect. He would continue to argue his point, trying to find some sort of compromise with Zazzastack. His teammates were not having it, and this is what the team captain, the leader here, Cece, had to say to him. An incredible response, watch.
Yeah. Hold on, Kingsman, you're gonna tilt me, bro. We haven't even played against them yet, bro. chill.
It's important to draft a good composition before the round starts, or before the match starts.
No shit, bro, but you think Zazza's gonna swap after we had this conversation 10 different times?
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you when you keep asking. Like,
I'll tell you right now, she's gonna start on Widow no matter what you say.
I don't even think I've been playing that bad in our scrims on Widow either. Like,
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. I know you won't. I know you're not bad at the character.
Like, for
That's not my
Christmas,
point.
I want Zazza.
Not once did Kingsman disrespect Zazza, her skill, her playstyle, her as a person. His main worry stemmed purely from how the other team was going to counter her character, just naturally, just based on dynamics. Zazzastack would argue, my performance isn't even that bad. That's gonna age like milk because very shortly after, she would get absolutely pummeled by the enemy team. This is when he would say, do you see my point? This is when he would truly start to get disrespected by his team to the maximum level. Take a look.
Do you see my point? Now imagine Zazza trying to live that, right? It's not gonna happen.
Busy dueling with Spider-Man, bro.
Bro, none of them
Back to
live,
you guys
bro.
now.
Yes, exactly,
Oh my God,
exactly.
wait, I'm like learning him.
But Bucky
okay, I'm
will.
so for
Bucky
real,
will
bro.
prevent that.
Like, no one is living a 5-man run into their spawn, bro. Kingsman, shut up, bro. Just, my God.
They're living with triple support.
Thank
You
you.
made your point and it's not gonna happen.
Okay, so
All chats are getting annoyed now.
Yeah, by this point, Kingsman's own chat had lost hope. W ego, it's fucking over. Is she dumb? She is so fucking mean. Rip, it's over. Yeah, you're not sniffing $1. You are not getting any money, lil bro. The cherry on top here was the fact that they would win this game, purely because the rank 1 Magik, Kingsman, would carry the hell out of his dumbass team. Zazzastack throughout the entire game would only get 2 eliminations. 2! I want to emphasize to you how much of an achievement that is. Getting a kill in this game isn't like in Call of Duty or other FPS games. If you just as much touch an opponent that ends up dying later by your teammate, it counts as a kill, like literally just doing 1 damage. This meant that throughout the entire game, she only hit 2 different people as a sniper. That's just how crazy this is. And no one saw this as a problem, except for Kingsman. That's how crazy the situation was. No matter what Kingsman would say, how he tried to formulate a sentence, how he would try to get the point across, he would always be disrespected. Like in this clip, watch.
Just save your breath.
Because I'm not swapping over Black
Yeah,
Widow.
yeah.
okay, then we lost the tournament.
You don't
GG, go next.
understand that,
That's literally
bro.
how it
This is
works.
a
Why do you want to
understand
cancel
that.
Kingsman? It's not happening, bro.
Oh my God, I just
gotta take
talked about this fucking conversation now.
Nah, bro. And he's gonna make another video, bro, for sure.
Yeah, you're
Oh, this is an important conversation. This is an
You want to see something really ironic? As soon as this game started, literally as soon as this game started, one of the first people who died was Cece, and then
There's one. Little one.
Zazzastack immediately by Spider-Man. By the way, I just want to emphasize, Cece had told Kingsman specifically when they had the call before starting scrims that Zazza was great at taking out Spider-Man. That's why she's Widow. You want to see something even more ironic? Kingsman would get 18 eliminations, carrying the hell out of his team again, while Zazzastack couldn't even hit 1 person. 0 kills as a sniper, 5 deaths, and 0 assists. Assists are purely for healers, people who give you buffs, and if you get a kill, they get an assist. Zazza couldn't hit a single enemy that died this game. A single one. He would keep emphasizing his arguments, the fact that he went against #1 Black Widows in games and saw that they couldn't handle certain compositions. He really tried to get the point across that it's not Zazzastack that he has a problem with, it's purely the character pick, still nothing. This would all culminate in one of the most disrespectful things that were said to him by the team captain. And since she was streaming too, might as well show you her perspective while she was saying it. Watch.
We are running into Snake Case's team. I don't understand, bro. I don't get it. You're making me mad, bro. We've been playing against Snake Case's team. This is their team. The only difference is 1 support player, bro. We won. Shut up now, bro. Like, I'm tired of it. This is fucking getting annoying and you're making Zazza sad. Like, it's not gonna happen. She's gonna play Black Widow, so just shut up for 2 seconds and just play this goddamn scrim. Like, I don't get it, bro. Thank you. Oh my God! Like, just shut up, bro. Like, we're not gonna swap.
If you're concerned about their dive, you just trade back.
What an incredible display by the team captain who's meant to keep order, who's meant to understand all the perspectives in her team and find a middle ground. In her mind, she probably thought, Slay Queen, I'm being a girl boss right now. In reality, she was being a nasty bully. Not just her though, the other 2 girls as well. Out of all the scrims this team ended up playing, so around 7 different games, Zazza would do well on the last one. Kingsman would carry every single game. That's not an exaggeration. He was really carrying his team hard. But it just so happened that Zazza got MVP once. Here's how his team reacted. Look for yourself. I mean, this is really the last straw here.
2-2.
Job. Talk shit to Kingsman now, Zazza.
I don't talk. I just tell people to shut up when they're talking. That's all.
Oh, that was horrible.
I didn't talk shit at all. When did I talk shit?
Look at her strut down this runway. Look at her strut down this one. Shush, Kingsman, you're not allowed to talk.
Makes me play like crap when people are, you know,
Yeah,
being a
that's
bit
normally
icky.
how it goes.
That's all.
You're not,
It's
you're not the only one.
like
Yeah,
I'm playing
I'm sorry,
fine
guys.
now
I'm just
because
really,
it's been a
I'm
couple
just a
games
terrible
since
person.
that, you know?
Just report me.
You're not a terrible person. It doesn't make you a terrible person.
I think
Fucking
everyone
ridiculous.
on this team understands
Just be
that
nice,
you
like
have
just be
passion
chill.
to win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
sorry, I'm
get
just-
your
I'm
passion
just
to
so
win as
negative.
well, and like
the
I
fuck
really
outta here,
want to
bro.
win as well. Intentionally throwing because if people are being icky.
I think I'm just gonna.
But they're down to wait for us.
Whatever.
to
I want money. I'm still gonna play. I'm
So-
really.
Bro,
You
we
guys
already
wanna
won
run?
against them. Or do you want to just
Yeah,
like
let's
leave
leave them
like
By this point, I really want to emphasize just how professional Kingsman has remained throughout this entire thing. Compared to the average person, I mean, hell, compared to me. In his shoes, I would have already crashed out a long time ago. I mean, she was over here saying that she was throwing on purpose because he was being icky to her, and that once he finally shut up, she could perform well. We all know that's a lie. She couldn't even get 1 kill. So why did Kingsman actually stay and deal with this disgusting disrespect, this bullying? Well, he would explain it himself. Eventually, the scrims would end. He'd leave to continue playing ranked, and then he would tell his stream straight up.
I'm just here to win the tournament. You know. I need that money. I'm fucking broke. I like money, and $3,000 or $40,000, which has a prize pool for first place of $3,000, is a lot of money for me. I could really use that to help pay my college. You know, college tuition is very expensive.
So that's what it was. A lot of people can relate to this. College tuition is crippling debt to just about anyone in the US. And on top of that, winning $3,000 would also mean that maybe you don't have to eat cup noodles every day. When you're a full-time student who doesn't work a part-time job on the side, $3,000 can really make or break an entire year of studies. Every dollar counts, which is why he was willing to deal with this blatant disrespect, all for the sake of maybe paying off some of his college loans. Unfortunately though, even after dealing with so much disrespect, with so much blatant bullying, it would all prove to be for nothing, because he wouldn't even get an opportunity to participate in the tournament. Shortly after telling his chat why winning is such a big deal for him, he'd go AFK for a few minutes, come back, and announce something so ridiculous that it would make anyone's blood boil.
Well, I was just kicked out of the tournament. Well, unfortunate. Yep, I know. I've been messaging Bazim for the past, like, 20 minutes, and nothing to do. I just gotta get removed, I guess. Wow. What a joke, bro. I mean, like, that's just insane. I can't. Unreal, bro, unreal. That's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy. Wow. Wow.
As you can see, his chat was absolutely shocked. Anyone with a brain cell would be shocked. And Kingsman was speechless. Kicked for what? Enduring bullying? Wanting your team to win? Giving advice from your own experience playing in the highest ranks? And to top it all off, the reason for him being kicked wasn't specified to the public. The tournament organizer, Basim ZB, would give a very vague answer when asked why he was kicked. And he made it sound like something that was completely unforgivable. This didn't help at all, because it only fueled rumors and theories that were way worse than what actually occurred. See for yourself.
I make. This is my decision. He was kicked out was, you know, for violating rules. All right, I'm gonna just say that because I mean I'm keeping it as respectful as possible. All right, I am a tournament host. There is a level of creator respect, and this is not. I'm saying like somebody calls somebody a poopy head, they don't get kicked out of the tournament. There's reasons for this, okay? And it's not just a one-time thing, because I understand warning is not an option, no. Because if there's warnings, everybody's gonna get warnings. There's a zero tolerance policy. He wants to play and he wants to win and he wants a lot of people to switch to different team comps. I understand he wants to win. I get it. You cannot avoid the fact it was very toxic. There's a lot of different things. All right. I understand. I was a college student once too, bro. I get it. I got no personal beef with Kingsman. I got no beef with Kingsman. I got no beef with anybody.
I got no beef with Kingsman, but at the same time, what he did was unforgivable. What he did has a zero tolerance policy. He doesn't even deserve a warning, just an immediate kick. That's just how bad it is. Look, it was obvious he was trying to quell down the flames, but this did nothing but put fuel on it. It was handled horribly. Not to mention that as time went by, Cece would continue to talk shit behind Kingsman's back.
I open up the chat and I immediately see Cece saying I was shit-talking the tourney and my members. And all I gotta say is I tried to be so polite the whole tournament. And I literally have been so respectful of Basm. I ranked up, let's go. I've been promoting this tournament for weeks. And obviously, maybe there was a joke in passing. I mean, like 5 minutes ago, Tato, I literally heard you say, this tournament's gonna be dog shit, bro. Because there's no bans. Obviously, there's jokes in passing. But all I'm gonna say is one of my viewers showed me that 20 minutes before I got kicked, Cece said she had to go do something real quick.
So this was Kingsman talking to another streamer about his kick, arguing that there was nothing he said that was worse than what others have been saying throughout the tournament. Also showcasing to us that Cece has been talking shit behind his back even after he was kicked, adding that she might have had something to do with this kick because she went AFK on her stream to talk to Basm on a phone call. And finally, Kingsman went as far as having to explain to people that he was not a misogynist. Zazzastack would complain to her Discord about how toxic he was to her, and someone would just randomly say that Kingsman's chat was misogynistic, that they were a reflection of his misogyny, that him asking Zazza, someone who can't even get one kill in an entire game, to switch to another hero was him being misogynistic. And since Basm ZB, the organizer of the tournament, refused to elaborate on why he was kicked, these rumors were running wild. It was so unfortunate. I mean, the guy did nothing wrong. His name was being ran through the mud. This is why after being kicked, he would decide to make a 1 hour, 16-minute video titled "I was kicked from a $40,000 tournament." He'd upload it on January 18th and it would quickly go mega viral, being spread everywhere on social media. All the clips that we watched so far were from his video. But what's really sad here isn't just how he was disrespected by these people he had just met recently, it's also the fact that someone he considered a friend, Luciyasa, someone he was excited to play with, also talked shit behind his back. I mean, this is what he had to say when he found out he was on the same team as her. Look at this.
Lucy? Yes! It's winnable. Wait, that's actually fire. This is winnable. We win this. This is actually doable. Me and Lucy are on the same team. $40,000 tournament. There's no way she's gonna throw. So that means we're gonna actually win. That's actually doable. Okay, Cece's got a good draft. Oh, he picked that.
She was there during the scrims, by the way. She had nothing to say to defend him. In fact, she decided to side with Cece and Zazzastack. And here's what she would say behind his back on her own stream. Watch.
I need this for my college. I need this for my college. I have about 6 or 7 more years.
Yeah, we were dealing with some of the most vile, disgusting bullies you can imagine. People who had no empathy, no understanding, and no respect, not just because Kingsman was a top 1 player, but because he was a human being, another person. But regardless, the tournament would still go on. Cece would be asked on stream why Kingsman was kicked, and she would again run his name through the mud with Luciyasa in front of her viewers. Watch.
What happened with Kingsman getting kicked?
So like Boston pulled me aside and it was just like, a lot of people were coming to him, like chatters and stuff, were showing him clips of him like saying disrespectful things about the tournament, like us as a team, and like saying we were gonna lose and all that stuff. And like Boston was just not having it, and so he asked me, and I was just like, it's kind of just like, if you think so. But apparently he was like muting in like while we were in Discord and then saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose. And these guys, my team sucks. And then he was talking about like how some other tournament he's in was like way better. And I think Basm was just not taking that disrespect. And low-key, like, I didn't want that disrespect either. Like, I didn't want someone on the team that was just constantly going to like shit talk us to his chat. So I was just like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
but
that was like mad disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, how dare he do you the courtesy of muting himself when he's about to lash out, staying respectful with you even after you told him multiple times to shut the fuck up in front of a live audience. Let's also not ignore the fact that when Basm told her he was intending to kick him, she had zero protest. I mean, seriously, with teammates like this, who needs enemies? Now, in the timeline of these events, the video had gotten tens of thousands of views and then hundreds of thousands before reaching 1 million. The Marvel Rivals community was outraged at this behavior, and it was starting to reach the mainstream. It was clear Cece wasn't acting like this for the first time in her life. She's someone who is generally vile, who bullies people all the time, and this was her first time being caught, the first time facing consequences. So in the face of these consequences, she decides to make her own response to Kingsman's video on YouTube. The result? One of the worst disliked videos in YouTube's history. Barely 24 hours after Kingsman's video got uploaded, Cece would upload her own video, titled The Truth Behind the $40,000 Tournament. It's currently sitting at 1,200 likes and 60,000 dislikes. 60,000 comments. And as you can guess, the majority of them are not on her side. Now, one of the first things that Cece addresses here was why and how Kingsman got kicked. She'd argued that this wasn't about what Kingsman was saying, this was about how he said it, how it was affecting team performance, how it was bringing down their mental. She'd then talk about her phone call with the tournament organizer. According to her, Basim ZB would message her to talk. He'd say that he just so happened to have come across a bunch of clips and messages from Kingsman which made him want to kick him. Cece would then go ahead and not object, but does admit that looking back, maybe a warning would have been enough. Now, I really want you to listen to this part in particular. This is her arguing in Zazza's favor. Look at this argument she's making here as to why Zazza sucked so much. Watch.
I want you guys to understand, she was going to go 0-5 no matter what she played. Why? Because Kingsman was breathing down her neck in her ear for the last 30 minutes. She wasn't focused, she wasn't locked in, she wasn't going to play well no matter what she played. So you guys are like, that was her game. That was her game to show off. That was her chance to prove that it worked. No, it wasn't. Because during that time, Kingsman was still down her ear. We finish that map and we go into the next game and we're still arguing about it. At that point, I have to put my foot down as a captain. And yes, I told him to STFU. But you have to understand, this is after an hour of dragging this conversation on, an hour of me asking him to drop this topic, an hour of just continuous arguing in the team. Yes, I finally told him to STFU.
I mean, this is why I took the time in the beginning of this video to show you these clips. From her perspective, she's making him seem to be someone unreasonable, someone who can't shut up. In reality, though, the only thing he wanted was some sort of a compromise. In between those clips of him talking were way longer play sessions with him not even breaching the topic. Zazza still could not hit a single enemy. Again, dude, getting a kill in this game is the easiest thing you can do. You just have to assist. But guys, she had to put her foot down. She had to tell him to shut the fuck up in front of the teammates and the viewers watching. Disrespecting him in front of thousands of people. And by the way, if you're confused about her voice because she doesn't usually sound like this, yeah, we'll get to that, don't worry. She's making this voice on purpose to appear more innocent. Next up, of course, I'm sure you've seen some memes about the vibes. She'd make this argument. Watch for yourself.
From day one, I told Kingsman, rule number 1, don't tilt my team, and rule number 2, don't bring the vibes down on the team, because we're going to lose. A lot of you guys are underestimating how important vibes are in a team scenario. At the highest level of competitive esports, tier 1 esports, you will get booted from a team simply because your team doesn't like you. Even if you're performing, even if you're doing well, if the team synergy isn't there, you're not coming back for another season.
Bro, how dare you ruin the vibes? How dare you? How dare you as a #1 player give our team free advice to win $40,000 and ruin the vibes? She'd have an entire segment called accountability, but throughout this whole video, she never once apologized to him. In fact, during the scrims, she called him a loser as she was muted, right? And bear in mind, she had blamed him for muting and saying they were going to lose. Watch.
Everyone thinks this guy's a loser.
Like a bug. That's just what happens.
That's such a good point. You're so right about that. And we're still going to play Widow.
Now look, I don't know what you think about this, but in my opinion, this is the exact toxicity that Kingsman was blamed for and kicked without warning for. So as I said, Cece had a whole section called accountability. She also had a section called loser, which was way longer. Did she apologize to him for this absolutely blatant toxicity? Well, as you might have guessed, no. If anything, she doubled down on it. Watch.
Yes, I did read out the chat. Because when I'm looking to my right, I'm reading chat that called him a loser. And then I repeated it. I shouldn't have read out that chat because it was disrespectful. That's very hypocritical of me for to say that about Kingsman and then say that out loud. That's on me. But I will double down and say replace the term loser with being disrespectful, with asshole or rude. And that's my point. I don't think Kingsman's a loser. I think he's a good player who just wants to win. I think I said that because Kingsman was being a loser. You just criticized and demoralized my teammate for an hour, repeatedly ignoring our mentions to stop. Like, that's loser behavior. You're being a loser for that. And I'm going to say it again. If you make someone sad for an hour, despite people telling you to stop, that's being a loser. And none of you guys in the chats could even you guys were trying to justify that. There's no justification for being an asshole. That's just what that was. So
yeah, I know. This gaslighting is insane. Yeah, well, it gets worse because now she's saying it wasn't a personal attack. What? Like, please explain to me what it is when I call someone a loser.
So it wasn't a personal attack on Kingsman. If Kingsman brought it up to Bass and be like, yo, this was a personal attack on me, I would have argued. I was like, no, that's not a personal attack. That's just facts.
Of course you would have argued because you're a gaslighting, manipulative bully. I mean, how can you sit here, record this, and publish this saying, oh yeah, you know, calling him a loser, you know, replace that term with something else, and then continue and say, actually, you know what? No. If you bully someone for an hour, you are a loser. Like, what the fuck am I watching? Yeah, I'm sure you're not surprised by now why this video got so many dislikes and so many negative comments. The bully got caught for the first time maybe in her life, faced consequences for the first time, tried to use the same tactics she always used, but this time it failed horrendously. But before we move on from this video, I want to mention something that not many are mentioning at all actually. At the end of her video, she would have a clip of around a minute and a half, in which Entei, a Marvel Rivals drama-centered TikTok content creator, would talk to Kingsman on stream shortly after he was kicked from the tournament. This guy wouldn't really be on Kingsman's side. He'd tell him that he was overstepping, that he was being extra. One could even say that he was siding with Cece and Zazza as well as Luciyasa. This is why Cece felt so compelled to include it at the end of her video, titling this segment, Entei Preach. Just like everything we've watched so far, it's painful, but necessary. Watch.
Kingsman, what I'm trying to get you to understand,
even
though,
in these scenarios,
listen,
I am not.
Listen. It's not just Zazza that you're affecting in this. It's also affecting Cece and your entire team synergy because you're complaining about a comp that they
but
clearly
we were
don't want to run.
We still synergized.
Fine.
We had a game.
Then you drop it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I didn't say anything on the last game. I didn't even say anything.
But
I just left the tournament. I played ranked.
You said enough, bro. Dog, listen, I'm trying to help you. You did say a lot, man. You said a lot. And like I said, I'm gonna be there for you because you getting kicked out the tournament is stupid. I get it. But you were overstepping. You were overstepping the entire time. So you can't get mad when all the overstepping that you have done for the past several days.
Brother, we've had one day of scrims after a draft.
Yeah, it really seemed like the entire world was against Kingsman. I mean, if I was in his shoes, I would have gone mad. Like, am I really that crazy? Am I really that insane with everyone telling me I'm a terrible person? Kingsman would then go ahead and ask Entei not to make a drama TikTok about this until he can release his video. He respected that wish. So after Kingsman's video dropped, Entei would drop his own video on his TikTok. And again, even though he was kind of giving the impression that he was Kingsman's friend, it was very obvious that he was taking the side of Cece, Zazza, and Luciana. I mean, look at the things he was saying here. Some very weird takes, like this one. Watch.
The event itself skyrocketed Rivals to the front page of Twitch, and they had over 100,000 viewers combined, I believe. Mind you, most of the guys that are in this tournament are partnered on Twitch. If you ran ads during this event, you got bank. I will say Kingsman played his cards correctly. Paint yourself as the victim in the situation. You got kicked from a $40,000 tournament, even though you were guaranteed to get paid anyway. Make yourself look like the victim. The rest of your teammates were bullying you, and I would believe that if I didn't have the full context.
Yeah, man, he played his cards right, making himself look like the victim. Yeah, this 20-year-old broke college student who just wanted to win some money in a tournament and wanted to do his best definitely is a master manipulator. What a great take. It gets better.
Kingsman. He played it smart. He only showed the game where Zazza did bad. One game where Zazza went 0-5, and that was after 2 hours and several days of internet banter and Kingsman talking her character. And don't twist my words. By character, I mean the Widow character. Stop it. What Kingsman didn't show in his video were the matches that Zazza full carried the entire team. There were a lot of things omitted from Kingsman's video, funnily enough, including dialogue between me and him at the end, where I talked about the cutthroat of business. But
yeah, I don't think bro even watched Kingsman's video because at the end you can clearly see Zazza performed very well and Kingsman said absolutely nothing because she performed well. He didn't tell her to switch or play someone else. What did he get in return? The entire team bullying him. He would then flex about how he called him later and told him about how this is a cutthroat business, acting like some sort of sage that he should listen to. You know what? I'm glad he didn't listen to him and made his own video. Zazza never carried even in the game where she performed well. Without Kingsman, they wouldn't have won a single game. His comments all call him out. calling his takes very delusional, very one-sided, and it really emphasized how alone Kingsman was here. How everyone he knew in this community involved in this tournament was just not taking his side. They were all against him, all for clout and superficial business relationships. So no wonder the entire Marvel Rivals community backed Kingsman up. The consequences were almost instant. You'd have many viral Twitter threads siding with him and asking themselves how this stupid drama could have gotten this bad. Saying things like, the Kingsman drama is so stupid because in what world do you think he's in the wrong? He's got a teammate acting toxic on Black Widow going 6'8" on 200 ping for $40,000. On top of that, he's genuinely making good suggestions and they just tell him to shut the fuck up. Y'all got that? Kingsman really better than me because looking at the screen would have driven me to insanity. And here they're showing the fact that Zazzastack is almost 200 ping. She's also lower ranked than everyone else on the team. All of a sudden, these uncomfortable moments during the scrims were getting picked up by bigger accounts. Everyone was being made aware of how toxic this truly was towards him. And I mean, it doesn't take a genius. You don't have to watch the whole video. Just one clip is enough to understand how disrespectful the dynamics were towards him. Additionally, Cece was being completely called out because it seemed like she was faking her voice on purpose to appear more innocent and soft, when in reality she sounded completely different on her stream. Here's a comparison, watch for yourself.
I like a challenge. I like a challenge.
I'll be addressing any allegations or anything that's not true, as well as I included a clip that Kingsman left out in his conversation with Entei.
Hey man, what are we doing here? Is this a catfish? Like, what the hell is this? Did she really think people would empathize with her more if she sounded cuter? The only person who would have liked this is Lakari. It was so pathetic. But speaking of pathetic, there was still a very big question mark about how Bassem ZB got a hold of these incriminating clips of Kingsman. Where did they come from? Who was the mastermind behind Kingsman being unrightfully kicked? Well, I'm sure it would come as no surprise, but it was none other than Zazzastack's boyfriend. He would admit this himself barely a day after Kingsman's video would drop, posting a Google Doc explaining the situation from his perspective. His intention, of course, was to minimize the massive wave of hate hitting his girlfriend Zazzastack, Cece, and eventually Luciyasa. Instead, though, he would do the opposite, amplifying this hate by 1000% and getting caught in the crossfire as well. So this document is 12 pages, and as someone who's had experience reading many of these throughout my YouTube career, I can tell you right now, it was hastily written. There are a lot of grammatical errors, structure that doesn't make much sense, and arguments that are really reaching to the point of delusion. In fact, throughout multiple times in this document, Kaplunk would admit that he's barely slept since the controversy first appeared after Kingsman's video. Here's how he'd started off. Hello again, I'm Kaplunk or Sam. I'm Zazza's boyfriend and currently living with her. I'm involved in the Marvel Rivals community. Seeing the earthquake this has caused, I'm going to explain my part in the Kingsman situation and the catalyst for him being removed from the tournament. I needed to take accountability for what I essentially started because the hate it has caused all involved is eating me away. In Australia, it's the night before the tournament. Yes, the tournament hadn't even begun by this point, by the way. Like all the games that were played so far were scrims. Zazza's comments are full of hate and threats, and this has blown up massively for something she had nothing to do with. After seeing how this is affecting Zazza, I have decided to explain to the greater community why what happened. After the first day of scrims, I spoke to Zazza about Kingsman's comments and she was hurt but didn't want to cause any drama. She felt she did well though in the first scrims to be given a chance. But during the second day of scrims and hearing Kingsman go on and on, I hit boiling point and went behind Zazza's back to send clips of Kingsman to Bassem's team. I'm going to explain why I did this with as many clips I could scramble together in 6 hours. It's currently 1 hour away before the tourneys start. So look, already from the first page, he's making it clear he's fully responsible for what happened. Zazza had no idea. Keep this in mind for later. Then come the clips. Now bear in mind, by the time I was recording this, Kaplunk already privated his Twitter, deleted the doc, and privated the YouTube channel where these clips were uploaded, alright? The only reason I have this right now is because I made a copy knowing that this guy probably doesn't have much of a spine. This isn't really much of a problem though, because most of these arguments that he's making made zero sense. Kaplunk was trying his best to paint Kingsman as someone who was unreasonable, someone who didn't even attempt to give his girlfriend a chance even though she somehow deserved it. Like look, here he would say, the draft went well, and me and Zazza went to Cece's stream where she was talking to Kingsman in her team chat. Immediately, Kingsman was questioning the Zazza pick before even knowing who she was. This is his first reaction when Cece mentioned Zazza from the get-go. Kingsman was complaining about Cece's choice to pick a 190 ping Widow OTP, which stands for One Trick Pony. What's really funny here though is that you don't even have to watch this clip. A 190 ping Widow OTP is enough to trigger anyone who has common sense in this game. This was very reasonable to ask. Kaplunk would then say he then brought up the money and what it meant to him to win the tournament, where Cece made it known that she wasn't too focused on the money part of the tournament. This should have set Kingsman's expectations on his team's mindset. Whoa, that's a very bold thing to say. What, did Cece tell him that she didn't care about the money from the first day? Let's watch the clip together, shall we? The VTuber AnniePants had reacted to this document as soon as it dropped, so much of the clips were archived on her VOD. Here's this clip in question, titled Price Pool Conversation. Watch.
If it's a draft like this, I just wish the prize pool was more like split evenly, so people could just have fun and not.
Bro, you get money for just showing up, dude. What do you mean?
Barely. Have you
yeah,
seen
but you get money. That's like 20 bucks. You know what I mean? Wait, 1,000?
First place. Yes, like no, between the teams.
Yeah, so it's like
split 1,006, and then for first place, you split $18,000.
Yeah, yeah, big money.
That's what I'm saying. Like these tournaments where people just want to have fun, like.
What was the point of this clip? Like, why was this? How is this a prize pool? They're just here talking about money and how it would have been nice for it to be more. As a broke college student, Kingsman was saying, dude, you get money for showing up. I'm happy with anything. I'm just happy to be in this tournament, but of course I want to give it my best shot. This was one of the first clips that were included in this document, and all it did was show us that Kaplunk was brain dead. He then goes on to show us more clips of Kingsman being concerned about the fact that someone who plays a sniper has 200 ping. Kaplunk was very pissed about this because he'd say, keep in mind he hasn't seen Zazza play yet or interacted with her at all at this point. As if that's necessary to be worried about 200 ping playing a character that no one plays in the pro scene. Kaplunk even includes a moment in which Kingsman's chat was telling him that Zazza was pissed about his comments towards her. Kingsman would then attempt to talk to Zazza in VC to clear it up. Zazza would instead respond in chat. If anything, this just shows that Kingsman was trying his best to be on good terms with his teammates and was just worried about the ping. This document that starts showing us clips that were in Kingsman's video, where he was very reasonably telling them, hey guys, maybe we should switch. Maybe we're gonna get completely owned if we continue like this. Kaplunk would then show us games from the scrims where his girlfriend did well. And then would say, I would like to comment on Kingsman continuing to play Magik here into Eshiko's penny. He made it work despite being countered, but made it work. A luxury he does not give Zazza. Yeah, buddy, because he's #1 ranked Magik on the entire planet. Zazza is Diamond, she's not even Grandmaster. He then says, I will also note, Kingsman's chat, including a mod, attempts to blame Zazza's widow throughout the entire scrim despite her doing well and the enemy team glazing her. This was getting pathetic. The guy was nitpicking the tiniest things, and it still wasn't convincing anyone that he was in the right here. He then goes ahead and shows us many clips we already watched of Kingsman trying his best to make his team understand, guys, we can't keep going like this, we're gonna get pummeled in the tournament. As we saw earlier, Zazza would of course argue that she's not going to play anyone else but Widow. They win the first game and she got 2 kills, okay? Kaplunk would argue Widow was playing anti-dive this game and she was not a part of the Deadpool rush ults. Her 2 kills were on people diving the backline, stopping them from picking on Cece. Just bear in mind, this whole game maybe lasted like more than 20 minutes, right? The fact that she only killed 2 people, or hell, touched 2 people with her sniper says a lot. But of course, the White Knight will defend his girlfriend no matter what. He'd say, this entire round has played out while arguing and Zazza goes 0-4. This is the first game in the 6 scrims they have done that she has a negative KD and Kingsman crashes out. Let's see how Kingsman crashes out from his perspective. Let's watch.
Fire Hulk. He dies. Okay, guys. Case and point proven. Right now. Do you understand?
No, it's well, you've been making me play shit. Of course I'm gonna play.
How do you not see the problem right now?
Wait, first of all,
it's that ass Kingsman, like, shut the fuck up.
Okay, bro.
You're doing too much.
Lucy's not even on Invis. Second of all, you're getting value.
Crashes out. You know what, dude? I think anyone who was reasonable, who had common sense, and who wanted to win this tournament would have done way worse than what he did. The mental gymnastics that Kaplunk was pulling here were out of this world. And this is when the White Knight would step in. He'd say, this is where I come in. I was watching this, and I had been clipping on an alt account since the start of the VOD when the first comments came in. I then messaged a member of production I know and told him to get Basim to watch Kingsman's stream. I went behind Zazza's back to do this. She was still in the scrim and didn't know what I was doing from the next room. I then sent multiple of the above clips to Basim with the context of everything since draft day. Here we can see DMs between Kaplunk and one of the members of production. Kaplunk would start off the DM saying, are you around? If you are, lurk Cece or Kingsman's streams. He'd say, okay, what's going on? Kaplunk would say, Kingsman is out to get Zazza, telling her she can't play Widow. He needs the money, and to play triple support. The crew member would say she's not a support player. Kaplunk would say, yeah, it's pissing me off. He's been onto her since the draft, and she hasn't wanted to stir the pot, but he is slandering her in front of his 200 viewers. Crew member would say, like, is he talking shit when unmuted to his team? Kaplunk would say, I'll lurk just his stream to see. Crew member would say, did Cece mute Kingsman on her stream or something? Kaplunk would say, I don't think so. They have been at it for at least the last hour. It's between matches and rounds, it flares up again. He'd then say, there's a clip I'll get from the VOD later where he's just talking about the money. Send this to Basim and Cece. While they talk, they will want to see it. Dude, again, how dare he care about the money? Like, how dare he? How dare he get into a tournament with a $40,000 prize pool and care about winning? What a disgusting piece of shit. He'd then continue the document and say, I didn't tell Zazza what I was doing because she hates drama and she wouldn't want it to blow up like it has. Since draft day, I was lurking Kingsman and Cece's stream. Zazza was being targeted from the get-go with no prior knowledge of her gameplay. This crash out was the last straw for me. I was unable to hold my bias or tongue anymore. This is the time that Cece was pulled aside to make a final decision. There's more I want to cover, but I'll make this part available until I finish writing the rest, and I'll add it here. He would then include more clips and more explanations that don't matter at all in the grand scheme of things and only make him more delusional, and he'd finally say, personal note. There are several days of responses and rumors to cover, but I haven't slept to put it together enough. At the end of the day, the decision to report Kingsman was my own. The decision to kick him was made by Basim. Zazza didn't know I had anything to do with it until after the scrims. I was a full belief Kingsman was unprofessional in a setting he had to be, full stop. I also have a downloaded copy of VOD 3 which I will upload and attach so it's immortalized before Twitch or anything else purges it. This dude genuinely thought that he was saving something that was about to get deleted, like he was cool or something, when in reality the only thing that got purged from the internet was his stupid YouTube channel with videos that made no sense when it came to the context he was offering. And I think the funniest part of all this is that while Annie Pants was reading this live on stream after he had published it to everyone in the community, he was changing things up based on criticism, making it seem like he wasn't even editing it. Look at this.
Actually fire. Wait, did he delete it? What happened?
He just straight up deleted a paragraph, dude.
Oh.
And he deleted another sentence. Like, he deleted the sentence that says no means no. If you can't take no for an answer after it was given to you several times, that's on you. Of course, this was all written to make Kingsman look as bad as possible. Of course, what ended up happening was the complete opposite. Kaplunk ended up looking like the biggest clown imaginable. The quote tweets were endless and they were all clowning on him. A whole Google document because a soft A wanted to win $40,000 and his teammates didn't. I'm in tears. Instead of minimizing the drama, Kaplunk ended up amplifying it to levels no one could have ever predicted. It got so bad. And Cece would go ahead and quote tweet it herself. She would attempt to divert all the hate that she's receiving to Kaplunk. Okay, this wasn't a friendly quote tweet. She'd say, for those on the niche side of Marvel Rivals, there was a creator tourney where I was team captain and someone on my team got kicked for disrespectful behavior. A video was released where I was made to seem like it was my fault he got booted. I'm here to clarify again because Kingsman won't. I was not the reason. Quote tweeting Kaplunk's Google document. This wouldn't work though because she'd get community noted, saying, you fostered the toxic environment, you were one of the most disrespectful people there, linking Kingsman's video. She would turn off replies, but before she would, people were absolutely cooking her, ratioing her over 10 times. One person here would try to suck up to her and be on her side, saying his cult is insane, referring to Kingsman, because watching from the beginning, all the comments were not needed. They're going too hard about money. This dude would get a community note with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different links saying contestants who join tournaments usually care about money. It's almost always why they're in the tournament to begin with. Kingsman had every right to express that he wanted to win. Thankfully, though, the majority of people, and by majority I mean 99.99%, had more than 2 brain cells to rub together. They weren't going to get gaslit or fooled, and her strategy that she's employed her entire career to get away from the consequences simply wasn't working here. But while Cece and Zazza were getting the majority of the hate, one person was still left on the sidelines and got less. Luciyasa, the person here who was meant to be Kingsman's friend and completely stabbed him in the back. She would delete her VOD of the scrims with Kingsman and the rest of the team, hoping to wipe evidence, but someone would come in with this clip that they had saved to really show us how vile of a person she was, along with both Zazza and Cece. Watch.
I have a genuine question. Like, seriously, answer this, even if you support Kingsman, whatever. Support Kingsman like it's fucking Israel. Anyways, whatever you have in your head, I have a genuine question. Ready? I'm saying,
Honestly, who gives a shit what her question was? How weird do you have to be as a person to say something like this, to compare what happened to Kingsman to Israel? Like, how did we even get here? Next up, you'd have Cece, one day after Kaplunk would release his Google document, tweeting out her quote-unquote final statement that she would delete very shortly afterwards. Here's what she said. My final statement. I take accountability for my poor handling of the situation and should have accommodated Kingsman better because I understood his motivation to try and win $3,000. In parentheses, not 40K, as if that matters, you idiot! She'd then say, I misspoke in the green light clip. In that same stream, after the clip was cut, I clarified Basim did not ask for approval. He was going to kick him regardless. Yeah, but you didn't even bother defending him as team captain. At the end of the day, he wanted money, and I wanted to defend my teammate from someone who was dogging on her from draft day about playing Widow in a creator tourney. I only called him a loser. I did not say shut the fuck up, rage bait him, or insult him other than that. If me asking him to stop is where you draw the line, then okay, insult me, crying emoji. And yes, I told my friend in Twitch chat to kill themselves. I've been banned and freed. Your favorite streamer probably says worse behind closed doors, crying emoji. Yeah, so that last part was in reference to how she was banned for 24 hours during the tournament. People were wondering why. Turns out she typed KYS to one of her viewers, who she called a friend. Wonderful behavior, again, by a team captain. Here she was doubling down, again, missing the entire point about why people were mad at her. She keeps saying I take accountability without actually taking any accountability, without ever apologizing, and while still justifying why she called him a loser. By this point, a goldfish would have understood what they're meant to do, but she couldn't get it through her head. But guys, look, all Cece wanted really from Kingsman was good vibes. People were starting to wonder, are these the same good vibes she was exhibiting in her TikTok? After making a post and a video and multiple statements of her taking accountability, she was still being extremely toxic. Look at some examples. Someone would say, got your best player kicked from the team, goodbye $40,000, hello good vibes, to which she would say $3,000 and we've got better players and vibes now. Someone else would say, lol, glazing Kingsman's for what now y'all gonna lose, kicked out y'all best player, lol, to which she would say he did it to himself. Check this one out. If you don't want to win, don't scrim and don't draft people who do want to win, to which she would say, I don't want to win with someone who can't take no for an answer. So now she was insinuating that this was someone who couldn't accept consent. Isn't that incredible? Really, like how far down can you dig your hole? Apparently for Cece, she can go down to the earth to score without even batting an eye, without even having a hint of self-awareness. In the replies of this post, you'd find Zazzastack saying, not a single screenshot there is me. Also, I had zero input into the decision of him being kicked. People gotta stop pretending like it was within my power. Someone would ratio her like more than 1,000,000 times saying there are screenshots of your replies actually, it's through the thread. And they weren't lying. In these replies, Zazza was playing the victim, telling everyone that she had no idea who was going to get kicked, she had no input into it, and she was only bullied. This is why her performance was bad, and this is why she was sad. He was rude, he didn't take no for an answer, and he was pushy for an hour. She'd even say she was never rude back to him, but the clips that we saw earlier in the video definitely show us a different story. Throughout this entire thing, not a single person apologized to Kingsman. Not a single person admitted that they were wrong. Everyone was just doubling down or, like Luciyasa, pretending like nothing actually happened. The only person that would finally, a few days after the video, more specifically 3 days, that would admit that they were wrong was the tournament organizer, Basim ZB. Here's what he had to say. Watch.
The people, when they come in here, when they hate, they're justified in what they're saying. They're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. 100%. No question about it. Like, there's no beating around the bush. I don't know why it's, like, difficult to admit when you're wrong and when you fucked up. I made a decision based off of haste and based off of misinformation, but everybody in the team knew what was going on. Everybody in this team knew what was going on, and the fact that nobody told me anything was... That's whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't...
Get that vehicle moving again.
Whatever.
So look, there's no question that Basim completely screwed up in his role of tournament organizer. I've seen many people call for him to never be able to host another tournament again, and he's also had a lot of hate thrown his way. He even admitted it, but he also said that it was justified. He understands why it's happening. He screwed up. Look, we all make mistakes in life, all right? And I think what's important is that we learn from them. At least Basim had the self-awareness required to understood that he made a mistake, and he said so. Good for him. What's really unfortunate though is that this self-awareness did not rub on the whole bullying group whatsoever. Everything we saw so far was nothing more than a very bad attempt at damage control. This obviously didn't work at all. If anything, it made things considerably worse. How much worse? Well, the bullies in question were about to find that out the hard way. Shortly after the Google Doc, Kaplunk would make yet another tweet. Here he'd say to Kingsman, "I'm reaching out to apologize and talk about the way things went down. In this case, I went about it in completely the wrong way. I overstepped. Zazza told me to leave it alone in confidence and dumb impulse decisions. Kingsman, I'm sorry for sending the clips which caused Bazem to kick you from the event. The Google Doc released was one-sided and painted you in an extremely negative light with my bias. I shouldn't have gone out of my way to involve myself in a situation I was not a part of. Zazza, I am sorry for going behind your back to release a Google document despite you warning me not to. This has been a massive wake-up call, and if there's any hate to be directed to me, not Zazza or Kingsman." Shortly after posting this, Kaplunk would go ahead and private his Twitter account. So this was him essentially hoping that all the hate would be redirected towards him so that his girlfriend could finally live in peace. He made it seem like he was the one who did this, she was the reasonable one telling him to stop drama farming, but he just wouldn't listen. This of course made the community hate him even more, because this guy had essentially admitted to going behind his girlfriend's back and sending a lot of hate her way. Someone would quote tweet that last tweet that Kaplunk had made and say, "Zazza will forever be known as a EOMM agent and it's your fault." In a nutshell, this means that she's always on the losing team, like she's there to pretty much sabotage you. You reported him and made a doc where you blatantly lied just to make him seem bad. Now you're trying to delete everything to hide it and come out with an apology that we know you don't actually believe in. But here's the deal, people weren't stupid, they were keeping track of these things. The guy was very blatantly lying because as soon as he posted his Google Doc, his girlfriend, Zazzastack, would repost it. This was of course about to backfire both on him and his girlfriend very harshly later, but in the meantime, Cece would make yet another statement. This would get over 17 million views. Here's what she would say. "I'm sorry I failed to realize that I need to take proper accountability on here as well. Many of you saw my replies and they were defensive, deflecting, and argumentative. I was busy fighting to defend myself and I've deleted them now because I realized what you guys really wanted from me was a sincere apology." Took you long enough. As a team captain, I have a responsibility to make accommodations for all my teammates. While advocating for my widow OTP, I also need to better respect Kingsman's wishes. Once the team environment became disruptive, I needed to de-escalate with a solution for both parties. A simple, "Hey guys, let's try this game with Widow, then the next one we can switch things up," could have worked. Emotions were high, and I failed to notice, which resulted in me snapping at Kingsman. I apologize, as no matter what, raising voices and instantly shutting down a teammate is not the right thing to do. I also should have reprimanded the comments directed at Kingsman once the scrims were over. I needed to hold everyone accountable. I also apologize for calling Kingsman a loser, and I should not have read that in chat in the first place. It was very disrespectful, as Kingsman was just trying to win. And as a leader, I needed to lead without emotions and a clear view. I said good vibes are important, but failed to create that properly. Before Kingsman video went out, I had already reflected, which is why I didn't realize you guys needed to hear it too. I'm sorry my Twitter fingers went first, not this. I tried my best to be ready as a captain, preparing a spreadsheet with various comps and playstyles, but I learned that being a team captain is more than strategies, it's about everyone on the team. They all need to have a say. Wow, what a wonderful apology. If only she posted this first without being defensive, weird, entitled, quote tweeting Kaplunk's terrible Google Doc, you know, a whole list of things. But by this point, it was too late. People were not buying this. She was just trying to do this as a PR move. In fact, she got community noted. Here's what it said. Even after the initial situation calmed down, Cece continued to bully Kingsman and speak ill of him across social media. Cece has a history of attacking other players and talking trash, linking a tweet. In this tweet, we can see some of the TikTok comments that we already saw earlier, as well as messages in her Discord. She'd say, "I'm pretty sure he spent all 20 years of his life inside playing video games, which is why he lacks social skills." She's of course referring to Kingsman. More bullying, wonderful. As people were raiding her Discord because of how terrible of a person she is, she'd say, "Yo Kingsman cocksuckers, screenshot this. Y'all think I ain't see the toxicity in the Kingsman Discord? W not spreading hate from the mods and Kingsman community." This only served to make people hate her more. Seeing this, she would reply to that apology we just saw and say, "I'm sorry I was going off the video and forgot to explicitly call this out. Earlier today, I woke up to 1,000 plus notifications from the day before and people had joined my server from Kingsman. I was having a panic attack and I just started experiencing them. So on my freakout, I said Kingsman lacked social skills because he spends his time playing video games inside. I was angry and ended up lashing out at him instead of his community. I deeply regret it and I apologize for flinging another insult out. This shows I have terrible character, but I will be working on watching the words I say and getting help with my panic attacks, heart emoji." The community note would come in and say, "She doesn't actually feel bad. This is a PR move," linking the same tweet we just looked at. Someone would quote tweet this reply and say, "She ulted, heartbreak emoji." That's it, man. She ulted. She pulled out her biggest move. I was having panic attacks. You know what's really funny? During the draft stream, Kingsman was specifically told that Cece would make a good team captain because she has military experience. This leads her to be able to handle high pressure. And there she is having a panic attack because she's being raided due to consequences of her own actions. What kind of military are we talking about here? GTA RP? Like, come on, who are you kidding? Anyway, while the high-tech military commando known as Cece was being absolutely dogpiled, Zazza was still fighting her own battle. By this point, she still hadn't made a single statement. This is when people would choose to go to her older tweets to call her out, with this person saying, "You realize you can't hide, right? You fucked up big time, homegirl." To which again, she would give the same narrative. "I'm aware and I'm not trying to hide, but people gotta chill. I had absolutely zero input into the decision of him being kicked. The power was out of my hands there, and people still think it was my fault." People would call out her performance and how much she sucked, and then she would say, "So now you're just hating because you don't want to recognize that I have informed you with the truth, and you want any reason to still hate. Wow." She was still going as hard as possible with the narrative that she had no idea she was just someone in the middle of a crossfire that she's not involved in. Eventually though, around 8 hours after Cece would make her apology tweet in which she finally uttered the word sorry, Zazzastack would come out with her own statement, saying, "Sorry it has taken me a while to write out a response to the Kingsman drama. I am the Widow player involved and wanted to take some time to collect my thoughts and reflect on the things that took place." Just to preface this post contains clarity and accountability. To start things off, I believe there are a lot of people who have blown this way out of proportion when it could have just been solved with a simple conversation instead of escalating things. That is on everyone involved. I'm taking accountability for not swapping off of Widow when I should have. The games that we're playing in Kingsman's YouTube video were practice scrim games and not the actual tournament games, so I was hoping I would have a proper chance to show off my Widow gameplay. My choice to stay on Widow was never because of ego or wanting to throw, and the whole way through the tournament I continued to tell Kingsman that I still wanted to try and wanted to help him win. The reason I initially said no to his suggestions was because they were out of my hero pool and I had no playtime on them. Kingsman was made aware of my hero pool from day one, and when he asked for Phoenix instead, I was too focused on processing the pressure that I was feeling from him constantly pushing me to swap. In hindsight, I should have just swapped to Phoenix or Hela so we could have practiced that too. As for when Kingsman said that he could switch to Bucky or Mantis and try that idea was never attempted because I said that his Magik gameplay was really good and I thought that his Magik was working. Of course it was going to work, he's rank 1 Magik in the world. Black Widow is competitively my best hero, and when I was invited and signed up for the tournament initially there was no prize pool and it was labeled as a creator tournament. The $40,000 prize pool came as a surprise later on and was split between everyone who played in the tournament in teams from 1st to 8th place, with 1st place getting $3,000 each for winning, so everyone ended up getting paid. I think a lot of people have been getting my voice mixed up with the other girls' voices and have been struggling to tell us apart, which has led to way more unwarranted hate than there has to be. She'd then say, "I was never once rude to Kingsman in the VODs, even when asked to talk my shit." I will take accountability for getting stern after a while of being asked the same question over and over, and do apologize for that, as I definitely could have had more patience. However, I still don't believe that I insulted him in any way. If Kingsman is at all offended by any of my actions, then I am deeply sorry to him. On the topic of the drama, I would also like to address my boyfriend's, Kaplunk's, input into the situation. With Cap and I living in the same house, I know how easy it is to believe that we worked together on sending through clips or the creation of the document. I can confirm that we did not work together on any of that at all. There had been comments and concerns from Kingsman since the draft day about my Widow pick potential. On day 1 of scrims, I had told Cap to not send through any clips of Kingsman doubting my Widow or muting up to speak to his stream as the day 1 games went well. I warned Cap that I could handle the situation of doubt by conversing and that if Kingsman were to end up getting kicked from the tournament, it would bring flame on all of us. Wow, does she have a crystal ball? That's highly mature from someone like her, huh? On day 2 of scrims, Kaplunk had sent through clips to tournament administration without me knowing in a moment of feeling overprotective for me so that they were aware of Kingsman being pushy towards my choice to play Widow. The clips were passed on to the tournament host, Basim ZB, and a rushed, overconfident decision was made to kick Kingsman from the tournament. Basim ZB has since taken accountability for his rushed decision and lack of research on his recent Twitch streams. You know, I love working on this video so far because I don't even have to say anything about this statement. Community notes are present on every single statement made by the girls here. And they say everything that needs to be said. Here's what this one said in particular. Zazzastack states that she never knew or helped write the Google Doc. However, she'd retweeted several tweets containing the doc as an attempt to defend herself. Actually, you know what? This community note could have been written a bit better. Not only did she retweet the document multiple times, she was also fully aware it was being written because, well, she admitted it live on her stream. Watch it for yourself.
Cece, did you see the document Cap was putting together about it all? Rage bait for more views? I'm not a rage baiter, bro. I'm not a rage baiter. He tweeted it? Yeah. Yeah, he's He's being very like straightforward about everything and putting all the evidence in there too. He's actually Cap has a lot of experience writing good documents like that, so W Cap.
Yo, Cece, did you see the Google Doc that my boyfriend's putting together? It's also really funny to me how she's gloating. Oh yeah, dude, he knows how to write these documents, man. Really? Did we both read the same thing? Incoherent structure? Clips that don't make sense? Grammatical errors that a toddler could have avoided? Really? But guys, I swear I didn't want my boyfriend to publish this because I knew that this was going to cause me drama. I could just foresee the future. How much of a clown can you be in one incident? How much, dude? Her statement wouldn't simply just end here, though. She then continues, saying, as for the Google document that Kaplunk had released, all the information within that was 100% factual and drawn from the VODs. However, it didn't shed any light from Kingsman's side of the story, which I believe was needed too. About 4 hours before the tournament started, I was downstairs crying from some of the misinformation and hate that was being spread after Kingsman had posted his YouTube video. Even though he had told people not to hate on others at the start of the video, seeing how upset I was sparked Cap to put together the Google document that he posted. She then continues saying he had told me that he forgot to finish doing something on his PC and then went upstairs to his setup. I went to bed as I needed sleep before the tournament as it was early morning hours in Australia. After a while, I messaged him saying, I don't know what you are doing on your PC, but I have a gut feeling you are writing a post or a document and I think you should leave it and come sleep. I ended up falling asleep and he ended up staying up writing the Google document so that he could post it before the tournament started in attempts to clarify things from my side. The clip titled, Zazza was all for the document according to this clip on my Twitch was after the document had been posted and I had already read through it. It was completely Kaplunk's decision alone to post the document in the first place. Yes, Kaplunk might be my boyfriend, but that does not mean I have control over his actions. Just like everyone else involved, he is still his own individual person and he has since written a public apology to take accountability on his profile here on Twitter. I never intended to offend Kingsman or throw away an important tournament to him as I still wanted to help him win. But if he is at all offended by any of my actions, then I again apologize deeply and hope that we can all move on from this. Again, this would be community noted. The community notes did not let her post a single thing without correcting her, by the way. It would say, OP did not intend on winning or helping Kingsman as she repeatedly continued to play Widow on high ping while berating Kingsman for being asked to switch. She was also on stream viewing the document with her boyfriend and approved it, linking the clip that we just watched. She would then finally say, also, just to leave a note here, I've limited the comments because people commenting were already trying to be misogynistic or racist as soon as I posted this. Again, a community note would come in and say, Zazzastack and the others associated with the mistreatment of Kingsman have often limited comments whenever it is obvious the majority will give criticism, not due to racism or sexism. Zazza has already shown to be untrustworthy due to her admitted approval of the document by Kaplunk. God, it is just wiping the floor with them. Someone would ratio the hell out of her before the comments would be limited, saying, said a whole lot of nothing. After most likely many years of this bullying behavior, these people were finally getting what they deserved. It was very satisfying and the entire community was very happy to see this. However, by now, many people, including myself, thought that okay, fine, things will finally die down now. They posted their final statements, they said what they had to say. It can't possibly get any worse, right? Well, we were all proven wrong when Kingsman would make an entire brand new Twitter account just so that he can post new information he acquired. This would somehow, even after everything we've just seen, make everyone look considerably worse. On January 21st, barely a few hours after Zazza had posted her long statement, Kingsman would create a Twitter account and tweet, "Hey everyone, I originally wasn't planning on posting this, but the first screenshot kinda messed with my vibes a bit, so here it is." Posting his own Google document. The document would be barely a couple pages long and it would be very screenshot heavy. He'd start off by saying, originally I wasn't planning to post anything else on this, but I saw this. He'd come across a screenshot between Kaplunk and what seems to be the crew member he was talking to. This would be the continuation of the DMs he was having with the crew member, where he said it's between matches and rounds it flares up again. The crew member would say, go on an alt, clip anonymously, download the clip. If there's anything that can help us get him kicked off the team, don't worry, plenty of people in line just as good. Kingsman, like everybody else, is replaceable, playing for the money ... Get the fuck out. There's no bans. To which Kaplunk would say, yeah, I'll go through it. This is when Kingsman would say, and this is just blind speculation, but the fact that you referred to it as helping us get him kicked off means that multiple people were trying to do that on my team. Kaplunk is Zazza's boyfriend, and I'm assuming this message is with one of the team members. And I'm 99% sure it's Cece. So this was Kingsman pretty much saying that this wasn't with a crew member on the production team for this tournament. This was actually Kaplunk talking to Cece. This is his speculation. Of course, insinuating that Kaplunk was lying in his document when he said that this was a crew member. And honestly, after everything that's happened so far, I don't think it would be a crazy revelation. He'd then continue and say, either way, my vibes were off. So here's the DMs between me and her after I got kicked and posted the video right before the tournament started. These messages would start off with Cece messaging Kingsman in Discord DMs saying, bro, please do something, these fucking NPCs in my Discord server. TikTok chat, Instagram, comments, streams. To which Kingsman would say, I told him not to harass anyone like 40 times in my vid. If you have like Twitch names, I can ban them. To which he would say, holy fuck, they think I'm responsible for banning you when all I said was, okay, I agree, Basim. He was gonna boot you anyways no matter what I did. I wish you asked for clarification before you posted this godforsaken video. Instead, I'm here fighting panic attacks and mass banning people on X different platforms. Make another post or delete the video if you really care. 20 minutes would pass and she would send another message saying, hello, do you have any response? Just like you want $40,000, I want some peace of mind for the next time I go live, crying emoji. God, even in these DMs, she sounds so vile. Kingsman would then say, I'm not deleting the video, it's legit just a VOD. But I've already told my viewers like a trillion times not to harass anyone, and I'll keep saying that at the start of my streams and banning whoever I see. This is when she'd say, why not? You took my clip out of context before even asking me for clarification. You can re-upload the VOD again, no? To which he would say, the VOD is staying up, dude. I'm not taking it down. Nothing is out of context. It's just the 16th and then the draft from a viewer's perspective. This is when she'd say, you insinuated I was the one who got you banned, question mark? You put a screenshot of a random Discord message from someone else saying I was sus for going into a one-on-one call with Basim? He'd reply with, you said in the same video, I have a boss call with Basim. In the same vid you say, I greenlit it. I'm not here to argue, so... To which she would say, oh, sorry, are you uncomfortable that I'm taking no for an answer? Oh my god. The same way you didn't take no for an answer for an hour? Or the fact that the only thing you said to the team was about money? Like seriously, bro, why the fuck would I want to kick you if I insisted you stay after you said you want to go play ranked? Thanks for throwing me under the fucking bus and into unlimited harassment for X amount of weeks, if not months. Get your fucking clicks now, all because your own actions got you banned and you can't accept that. Usually I'd be mature, but I don't owe you that if you can't even see how you're in the wrong. You are an asshole for harassing Zazza for a whole hour and making her upset even after we said to drop, and now I'm getting that harassment tenfold. Kingsman would then say, sorry to hear that. To which Cece would say, stop lying, you're not sorry. He'd say, I mean, you also just got banned from Twitch the same day for your actions, which is a totally separate matter. She'd say, for what actions? LMAO, I said something in chat to my friend. That's something being KYS, by the way. To which Kingsman would say, okay. She'd say it's completely unrelated. He'd say, I'm done talking, good luck on the tournament, and she'd end this with, you know I hard defended you when Entei drama farmed. I got into major drama in creator Discord with a bunch of people just dogging on me for being upset. Entei went behind my back to talk bad about you, and look. I had creators tell me how you're a crash out and that it's not good I got you on my team and I still defended you. I ain't ever met such a narcissist like you. Wow, incredible. And if you guys don't remember, Entei was that one Marvel Rivals TikTok drama creator that we talked about earlier. Kingsman would then say in the document, she then removed me from the Discord server with Rivals creators all over TikTok where we chat, and apparently she was the owner, LMAO. Also on a side note, why am I getting messages like this, LMAO? This would be a message from clearly someone who is extremely mentally ill, pretty much saying that he's very angry at Kingsman for clarifying that he's not a misogynist at the end of his video. Going as far as saying, you're a fucking disgrace for any self-respecting human and I hope life R-words you by the very women you claim not to hate. Unless, of course, you change your ways. Anyway, this Google Doc served to show us that Cece was truly, I mean, if you weren't convinced yet, a terrible, vile person. Not once did she apologize to him in private. Not even once. She made herself out to be some saint who was always on his side and that she never did anything wrong. When Kingsman refused to go with her pity farming, she would really crash out on him. This is actually a real definition of crashing out, not what Kingsman did during the scrims. Kingsman would reply to this post saying, also, I'm so glad Cece also turned the Marvel Rivals creator Discord from a server I used to know and talk with people into a Cece Glaze server with my old friends. We see a content creator saying that she was furious with Kaplunk because he hurt so many careers. We'd see someone else saying, I gained 600 followers after making a video showing Cece as the Antichrist. More importantly though, we'd see a content creator by the name of Ashlyn tagging both Cece and Zazzastack and saying, don't let these people try and bully you off the internet. I know it's annoying, but use it as an opportunity to gain favor from people who support you. The parasocials will forget about it in a few days when they move on to the next thing. Basically, it's free ad revenue. To which Cece would reply with, I just put 12 ads on my YouTube video. Yes, the one that got mass disliked. This again didn't help her case at all. Cece would reply to Kingsman's tweet like in less than half an hour and say, I made a quote tweet. These DMs say the timestamp is today, but it was immediately after I uploaded my video and saw all those hate comments for the first time saying I was the ringleader who got you kicked, when I am not. I'll take the screenshots insulting you to the chin, but it is not proof of me talking with Kaplunk. This is when she would be hit with one of the most ruthless community notes I've ever seen, with 9 different links of proof, which we already saw, saying Cece was the team captain. She had every opportunity to not only stop her teammates from bullying and harassing Kingsman during and even after the tournament, but also not do so herself. Kingsman would reply, ratioing the hell out of her, saying, that's pretty epic. Also, showing the screenshot of her saying KYS to I am Jabu. This is what got her banned for a day off Twitch. Here's another screenshot of I am Jabu on Discord. Someone asked him, you are her friend, ? To which he said, I don't know her, bro. Crying emoji. So the whole excuse of her being his friend and saying KYS playfully was out the window too. She would reply to this again, saying, Jambu and I spoke after. Him and I are chill. In the screenshot, Kaplunk has to explain when the team is arguing to this mystery person. I wouldn't need that explained to me if I was the mystery person. Heartbreak emoji. I truly mean every apology. She gets community noted. She did not truly mean every apology. Linking her own DMs that he had leaked in his Google Doc. I mean, at this point, bro, stop. Like, she's already dead. Like, it was over. But it was also up to her to stop, to finally get off the internet. But she didn't. She would also quote tweet the post that Kingsman made, saying, I am in the middle of class as I see this, but I want to be clear, those DMs with Kaplunk is not with me. I would not know of any substitute list. Yes, I know I flamed Kingsman, but I have been trying to apologize since that night. Proof below, I sent it to my friend at first and then had someone else confirm. I really don't want to be instantly framed for something I didn't do again. I have 0 DMs with Kaplunk. I already apologized for my behavior insulting Kingsman. I just want to move on. Please. She'd link a bunch of screenshots, and in them we can see her messaging someone, explaining to them the situation, how she had a panic attack and everything, and how she wanted to reach Kingsman after their very terrible conversation they had in DMs. But since she doesn't share the same servers with him, since, you know, she kicked him out of the creator server, she wanted this person to act as the middleman, to send him this screenshot, where she says that she's ashamed of how she reacted. She doesn't want this to be his last impression of her, that she wanted to apologize. But by this point, no one was having it anymore. This post sat at 7 million views and all the comments are again cooking her. But hey, would you look at that? She still didn't stop tweeting. She still kept digging herself a hole. She would quote tweet that post we just saw and say, emotions are high and I've learned when to step away. No, you didn't. If a response ends up necessary, I'll make one. Please react how you see fit to me being an ass. I know I deserve the same treatment I dish out. I am not the person in the screenshot with Kaplunk. I was not the one who reported Kingsman. My apology the day before includes all my behavior. I have not been online since and I've been holding myself accountable. I will continue to do so. I forgot to show you another screenshot that she included in that initial post where she has 0 DMs with Kaplunk. Again though, the comments are still cooking the absolute hell out of her. This was not helping anyone except, well, all her haters. But at this point, Cece was absolutely cooked to shreds, Zazza was too, and some people realized, wait a second, there's one person that deserves a lot of criticism too that isn't getting any, and that's Luciyasa. Luciyasa would go live on sub-only mode, that way she can farm as much money as she can out of this, with the title, I need this, I'm kinda homeless, still not taking the situation seriously at all. She'd argue that she wasn't a bad friend to Kingsman, even though she didn't take his side and was arguing against him, by showing us DMs between them. She'd send him a message saying, Kingsman, are you doing alright? He'd say, no, I'm not. She'd say, dude, why didn't you stop? I tried to tell you to shush. He'd say, I did nothing wrong, Lucy. I'm going to make a video about it. She'd say, okay, that's fine, but I don't think it's fair to say you did nothing wrong. You were on Zazza for a while and you could hear it in her voice she was getting upset. He'd say, no, don't worry, I'm actually going to explain everything. To which she would say, well, alright. I'm sorry about you getting kicked. I was excited to be on the same team as you. To which he would say, yeah, same. Bro, I rewatched and you rage baited me so hard. What an incredible friend, man. She'd also have some incredible clips from the stream that truly show us just how many brain cells she lacks in that head of hers. Watch.
To why I did what I did and why I said what I said. I did do it at wrong times, I do admit. But in regards to me telling him to shut the fuck up, that is the only thing I think I am 100% justified in, because Zazza said you're making me feel like shit. When somebody on your team is like saying that, I'm immediately just put off. And yeah, I don't know. That's the only time I'm only gonna like defend that specific moment. Thank you, the plug for the Prime to.
Yeah, you know, I told him to shut up because he was making some valid points. Yo, thank you for the Prime sub, man. Yo, thank you for the Prime sub, dude. But it gets worse. Here would be her excuse for comparing Kingsman to Israel. Look at this. Just listen to this and try not to cringe physically.
No, I guess it was just like in bad taste. But at the end of the day, you're like, Guys, I am a Lebanese Arab. Like, I have 100% donated more. I even had, what do you call it? Not that this is an excuse, but I'm saying I have definitely donated more than all of you guys combined to Palestinians. I literally have family there. I don't know really what... yeah. Anyways, regardless, let me see if there's anything else.
Bro, who asked? Like, genuinely, who cares? What the hell are we talking about here? And if you thought that wasn't bad enough, I mean, guys, it only gets worse from here. Look at what she said about Basim for actually admitting that he was wrong. Look at this.
That one wasn't even, like, really? Bro, Basim is the biggest, like, loser of all time. And also, a lot of creators are scared to, like, talk shit about him.
Yeah, what a loser, am I right? I just hope that she uses all these Prime subs that she got during the stream to buy a better microphone because my ears are shot. Here would be Basim's response to him hearing her call him a loser. Look at this.
Also, there's other things about Basim out there that, hey, if you want to look into it, look into it. But there's other shit on Basim out there. And Basim, if you're in here, bro, you are the biggest sellout of all time. You kick Kingsman out, and then you don't even properly fucking clear shit up. And you scream and shout for the Kingsman fans to all just be on your side because you switch sides because you don't want hate. You don't want heat, which is fine. But it's just...
Who the fuck wants hate? Who the fuck wants fucking heat? Explain to me one person who wants hate. Tell me that for 1 second. But you know how you avoid that? You take accountability for your fucking actions. Oh my god, dude. When you figure out somebody's wrong, you take accountability.
Basim had understood this within like 24 hours of the video dropping, but it seemed like Luciyasa was missing so much common sense, lacked a ridiculous amount of self-awareness, and was overall such a nasty, vile person that it seemed like nothing could make her understand how bad of a situation this actually was. Someone like her doesn't just spawn overnight. You get to this point when you act like shit your whole life and never face consequences. So it was no surprise that just before her stream, the content creator Antgrow would release a video titled "These People Are Not What You Think," Cece and Luciyasa in regards to the Kingsman saga. In this video, Antgrow would reveal to us that he was invited to the same Marvel Rivals tournament, but turned it down specifically because of a few people that were in there. He'd say that 4 months ago, back in October 2025, Luciyasa would start spreading some vile, untrue rumors about him. When faced with this, he decided to also take Kingsman's approach and make videos defending himself. He wouldn't attack her personally, he would never incite harassment towards her, this was purely him defending his reputation. When he'd do that, he'd be messaged by Cece, acting as a mediator between him and Luciyasa because apparently she was receiving too much harassment from her chatters. The reason why this was very significant to Antgrow was because Cece actually owned the Rival Creators Discord server. This is a server in where all the Marvel Rivals creators were and collabed together. This was key to your growth. He was directly threatened by the server owner that if he didn't stop sticking up to himself, then he was about to get kicked. She was using her influence as the creator of the server to bully others, protecting her other friend who was also a bully, by the way, and threatening anyone who had something negative to say about them. It's absolutely disgusting, but again, not surprising. When you never get caught for doing bad things, you just keep doing them. Additionally, during that time, this screenshot would start spreading around, where Zazzastack says, "Justice for that guy? He is black, I don't give a fuck," referring to Kingsman. She'd make a tweet saying, "I'm addressing the screenshot right now because this needs to be made clear. Before the drama, there were imposter accounts going around and hiding behind my name to act like this. I would never say this sort of stuff. That is not me. The only games I have played since the drama have all been live on my last stream, and I have not loaded up the game since. I've also attached a screenshot of my last ranked game so that you guys can see that I haven't played anything more. The times in the screenshot of my history are in Australian time." Someone would reply with, "And we're supposed to believe you, why? You've been lying since the drama started." To which she would say, "I haven't lied once, bro." This reply would get community noted, and it would say, "She has lied several times." I have never seen so many community notes for one incident in my life. Someone would call out how terrible she was at Widow and how she should have listened to Kingsman. She'd reply with, "No, we won a game once. I stayed on Widow, actually." She got community noted. They lost 7 games out of 8. And of course, we can't forget Ashlyn, the same person in the creator server who added Cece and Zazza, urging them to not let anyone bully them off the internet. She'd tweet out and say, "I collected more details on this drama and I'm willing to give a serious input. My genuine opinion on this is everybody was being cringe. Cece, Kingsman, Zazza, everybody. Nobody was in the right here. The best thing for everybody to do is to not escalate the situation, learn from it, and move on with life. I feel so sorry for the other teams who have been massively overshadowed by this whole thing. It's not fair. This was truly unfortunate and preventable. She'd also get community noted, saying this user has heavily backed Cece and Zazza, defended harassment, and otherwise engaged in various character assassination attempts against Kingsman, including inventing false allegations. It would be unwise to consider Ashlyn FPS unbiased in any capacity. Like, look, this was her saying, after reading the doc, Kaplunk's doc, this is genuinely insane behavior. His community, who's being so toxic towards you guys, just tells everything. I would be genuinely embarrassed if I were him, referring to Kingsman. She would then get ratioed multiple times in her replies. And so seeing the backlash she was receiving, the fact that she couldn't deal with the consequences of her own actions, just like everyone else, she would tweet out, Cece is bad. Kingsman is good. Would you kind souls please stop sending me death threats? I mean, God, the whole thing was embarrassing. Everyone involved who was taking the side of the bullies was nothing more than embarrassing. The secondhand embarrassment I felt throughout this video is indescribable. Because throughout all of this, all they had to do was simply apologize. Not just in public, but directly to Kingsman. They only apologized to the public because they knew it made them look bad. And this would be after multiple opportunities of them doubling, tripling, quadrupling down, and only finally letting go once they realized this is unrecoverable. This whole tough girl bully act was not going to work. The entire internet was now aware of this. Moist Critical had done a video about it. I mean, everyone knew about this. But even though this looks very bad already, the real consequences, the ones that are truly career-ending, would only start to show up later. And it would be when Cece would start to lose sponsorships. On January 21st, Infinity Mice, one of Cece's sponsors, said, "We have been made aware of the situation involving Cece during the recent creator tournament. While we have worked together previously, we do not support behavior that targets or disrespects other creators. As a result, we will not be continuing any partnership moving forward. We believe in keeping competition respectful, and we wish everyone the best going forward." This tweet almost has 2 million views and over 50,000 likes. Since then, people have expressed interest in their products because having morals as a company is something rare these days. But they weren't the only ones. Solaris GG, the talent agency in which Cece was a part of, would tweet a message from our owner. In it, you'd find a tweet by Hune, the owner of that talent agency, saying, "I've been informed of everything that happened, and as of today, I've made the decision that Cece has been removed from Solaris and its creator program. I want to clarify, Solaris and its staff, other creators had zero involvement in Basim ZB's tournament. All of Cece's social media posts and messages, the actions done and the insults said towards Kingsman by the group of streamers is not something I'm happy about or what Solaris stands for." Again, this tweet would receive a lot of attention as well, over 2 million views, and many people were very happy about this. But that's not all. Someone would notice that Cece, in her links, had one that led to Razer, even though she misspelled the name of the company. It seemed that she had an affiliate code. The people would let Razer know, linking a tweet that she made saying that yes, she got banned because she typed KYS in chat. They'd say, "We're looking into it." Later, they'd say, "We have confirmed that there were never official agreements with the creator and there are no plans for future collaborations." One could only assume that her affiliate code also doesn't work anymore. Cece had finally, for the first time in her adult life, received consequences that equaled her disgusting, vile actions. Oh, and while we're on the topic of Cece's adult life, it seemed like she had a very big problem with the opposite gender, saying that all men are liars and that she hates all men. Additionally, back when she used to be a Smite player, she would express in DMs with someone that she had a dislike of black people. It wasn't just consequences against Kingsman anymore, it was consequences for every bad thing she's done over the last few years now. But it wasn't over just yet. This wasn't just about monetary opportunities and sponsors. This was about how they had become a cultural phenomenon for all the wrong reasons. The NBA team, the Atlanta Hawks, had made a TikTok about the Kingsman drama, saying how Kingsman felt after watching his old team get destroyed in the Rivals tournament, showing players dunking multiple times. A user would tweet, "Someone said they're pulling a Zazza stack in my game today. What does this mean? Someone inform me." New slang unlocked, Zazza. Definition, someone throwing not necessarily on Black Widow and still won't swap. Playing for the vibes also became a massive meme. There's a new tournament being hosted by the content creator Boger with a $50,000 prize pool. He would tweet out, "Happy to announce that I'll be hosting another Boger Bash next week. This is not a casual tournament, but I promise you, the vibes will nevertheless be pristine." So now sponsors were leaving left and right. Opportunities were gone. No one wanted to associate with these people any longer, and they were truly exposed for what they are. This is the pure definition of consequences, and it is very satisfying to see. But what about Kingsman? How is he doing? Well, he ended up becoming more successful than any of these bullies combined. His last few streams had reached thousands of concurrent viewers. One of them had peaked at 25,700 viewers, gaining 44,000 followers in one go. He's been receiving so many donations that he started begging people to stop donating. Someone would donate $3,000 right off the bat. His chat got him to hype train level God knows how much. He has over 10,000 subscribers. That's $50,000 alone. He's reached over 200,000 subs on his YouTube channel and just reached over 100,000 followers on Twitch. I was there for the countdown. He has made way more than the entire 40,000 prize pool, and it couldn't have happened to someone more deserving. Additionally, Marvel Rivals developers sent him currency in-game for free so that he can buy all the skins for the character he loves playing, Magik. Check out a wholesome clip for a change.
The Marvel Rivals devs just gave me units so I can purchase Magik skins. No fucking way. There is no way that is real. Wait, I gotta hide my screen. No way. No way. What? Wait. By the way, this is the guy who emailed me because he asked me.
As I said in the beginning of the video, this was a story with a happy ending. And just in case it wasn't clear enough, this was never about men versus women or any of that bullshit. This is a textbook story of someone who got bullied and stood up to his nasty, vile bullies, garnering support from the public and making them face consequences for the first time in their adult lives. I'm very happy for Kingsman, and I hope that he enjoys his success. He seems to be a really nice guy. And no, I'm not just saying that because he admitted on stream that he watches my videos. If you're watching this, Kingsman, thank you for being a viewer of my channel, and I truly wish you the best. My DMs are always open if you want any advice relating to content creation, or hell, even drama, but I think you handled this pretty damn well. I think you're good on your own. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. I really appreciate it. And if you want more content from me, even more than my YouTube channel, then make sure to check out my Stacked page where I'm posting over 4 different art pieces every month, as well as 1 short video and long video. There's already a short video there. Prices start at $1 per month. I'll see you in the next video whenever that is, and love you platonically. Mwah!